And welcome back to week 5 of this league. We have the challengers with you here. It's the Volcanic Lightning against the... I forgot their name again.
It's Volcanic Lightning versus the Tactical Feeders in this week
Yes.
5 matchup. Coming out early in the ban phase, Hades has been a huge proponent, uh, almost a lightning rod for bans for these teams, if not almost consistently something worth first picking. And a Lancelot, a god we haven't seen a whole lot of, but definitely a fragger when he is allowed through.
Yes, definitely. This Lancelot can bring so much to the table, as well as this Daji being banned. These are good bans so far, high pressure, mostly junglers, as well as the Hades, like you already said. He is the absolute king of the solo lane right now, together with Guan I might add, though, and we might see him banned as well.
Yeah. And a rising star in the ADC, Ishtar. Also viable in the mid lane if teams do wish to play a double ADC composition. But now, Thor is another jungler. I feel like we haven't seen him represented as much in the picks and bans recently, but still, he was an absolute menace after his buff, so not at all surprised to see Thor banned out here.
Yeah, for my own personal experience, Four absolutely destroys matches. So I don't know why he's not being picked up that much or banned, as we do see the Naja being picked up. What do you think about that?
Ninja is really good at facilitating compositions. Mages that haven't been banned out so far, like will be taken away by the tactical feeders. I was going to say the Poseidon, but Vulcan is still up, so that's another god with a huge amount of damage that can follow up beautifully off Windfire Wheels and Sash from the Ninja. So I'm curious to see if we'll see something like the Vulcan come out to complement this Ninja.
Yeah, I would love to see a big burst mage here with the Naja. The setup is perfect, but even a big support like Ymir could already like work wonders together with this Naja. We also see the Achilles being picked up for solo lane here. It's a pretty decent pick. It can flex a little bit. What do you think about this?
Knowing Patrocles, this is one of his, I believe, one of his highest worshiper gods. He absolutely loves this pick. Getting into the enemy backline is his specialty on this Achilles. He will run you down and he will make laning against him miserable on this Achilles. So excited to see what he will do on that.
As we see the Churnanos being locked in, the Yuang being hovered and also locked in now, it's pretty meta picks right now. I think they're very strong. Especially this CERN in duo lane is just a top pick, top band together with the Susanoo as well against them. This Susanoo, I absolutely love Susanoo the last few weeks. He destroys any game I've seen him in. I think they've got a really strong team already.
Especially with the limit to either one of beads or ages, not both. Sasano has received so much increase in playtime, just absolutely able to annihilate anyone that doesn't have beads and ages. So that rise has been astronomical recently.
Yeah, definitely. This Susanoo, his damage output is just insane. As together with the high mobility, he is a top priority pick. I'm actually surprised to only see him the last pick before the ban phase. Talking about this ban phase, we see how Yi being banned away together with the Shiva on the other side.
Yeah, Shiva is an interesting ban as well as this Huyi. I imagine it's based on the fact that we are so heavily into a meta where crit is a viable option. Just build both your shurikens and a Deathbringer, and you will be swinging. And Huyi kind of limits that. So I imagine Volcanic Lightning is looking to be building crit with their hunter.
Yeah, definitely. As we do see the mountain god of Cabrakan being locked in here, a bit of lockdown against his Cern. Like, he cannot dash away, of course, whenever he's being walled away. As we see Atlas, which to me is one of the strongest supports in the game right now. Love to see him being picked in together with the Raven. We have not seen Raven all that much.
Yeah, Robin just offers a lot of safety, a lot of chase down, decent damage. He's just a good all-around character that makes it very easy for you to have an impact and feel your presence on the battlegrounds.
As well as this Poseidon must feel so bad whenever he's going to crack him, but the Raven just immunes it with his second ability.
Of course, and with that we have Charybdis locked in for the last god, and with that we will head into our first game of Volcanic Lightning versus the Tactical Feeders. We'll see you shortly.
As we go into game 1 here, teams already at the purple buff, Hawk being used by this Atlas. Who do you think is going to have pressure in this duel lane?
It's hard to give it to any team that doesn't have an Atlas, but Cabrakan just radiates pressure, as we're seeing, being able to use that Tremors almost indefinitely and just clear the wave so easily, and Tactical Feeders already taking over to level 2, really showing the pressure of that Cabrakan.
Yeah, this level 2 of getting the first wave, of course, is very important for the pressure, but as a Cern and an Atlas, especially an Atlas level 2, they might just take it back after this wave, as we see a bit of aggression from the Cern here.
Yeah, it's very possible, depending on what ability the Atlas has grabbed at level 2, to be able to interrupt these Tremors, as we just saw. But it looks like he won't be able to... King of Darkness won't have his dash, so definitely leaving himself a little bit vulnerable to ease some of this pressure.
Yeah, definitely, but they don't seem to want to capitalize too much of it just yet, as the Cabrakan is being grabbed by the Atlas, just goes immediately down into the Tremors, as this cannot be cancelled anymore. We just see easily wave clear for now, though.
Yeah, both teams just kinda farming it up, and an interesting matchup in the solo lane. Heavy Warcry and Patrocles are both such heavy players in the solo lane, as
Ooh.
Red Wing falling low.
Poseidon in a bit of trouble, will actually fall down to this Raven. Very well found route by the Yuang earlier, as in the duo lane also a kill already for the Volcanic Lightning going 2 up early.
Yeah, Nishi and Redwing both falling low. That's not where you want to be. Already down 1,000 gold. It's nothing to scoff at this early in the game. And it looks like
Raven
an
already
invade on the
invading.
purple buff.
Might be looking for a gank as well, but will get caught out here by the Kraken. Does get the invade off, but not a gank just yet on this Cryptus. Cryptus obviously being very safe inside of the Whirlpool, so maybe he kept that in mind.
Yeah, it's so hard to gank Cherry at any point in the game. She's just so safe, so much CC immunity, damage immunity in the Whirlpool as well, able to get under walls. Just so difficult to gank. I don't blame Cube at all, just getting the purple buff and then getting out.
Yeah, definitely. As they seem to be in a bit of trouble again in the duo lane, at least as Atlas is falling low, looking at the health bars. Yuang just soloing his rapper. No help from the jungler this time, but he should be able to get it just fine.
Yeah, after picking up that kill onto Redwing, it might show that they're trying to get Black Air Forces ahead just a little bit, letting him get some solo farm, as Cube now ganking Redwing again.
Yeah, this Poseidon still no beats up for another minute after that first pot, but it's fine for now. Retreats to the safety of his tower, as Raven actually might get caught out here. Pull by the Susano is good. So is the dash. Raven about half HP, but will get out for now. As we see in the mid lane, actually Poseidon this time being in a bit of trouble. Raven going back in as the Yuang ults, and Poseidon at 1 HP, who will not get taken. That's surprising to me.
Yeah, it must have had some cooldowns that weren't up for Cube. It looks like he was low on mana, because one ability would have been able to fall Redwing there, but he gets to live another day, release a few more Krakens before he's done, and we return to the land of the solos, just farming it up, doing their thing. I'm really surprised, knowing the nature of these solo laners, that no one has been able to get a pick yet. It just shows how well disciplined they are, despite their aggressive playstyles from both of these players.
Yeah, especially seeing this Nasha going full damage so far with a Blink as Relic as well being picked up first. There's not much safety there. If there's one good play from the Sakilish and she might fall down very quick. But that goes for the same way the other way. Nasha can deal a massive amount of damage this early in the game.
Yeah, I always love seeing this tanky build versus full damage build, and seeing who's able to take advantage of which play style early. It makes the solo lane more interesting to watch, in my opinion, to see who will be able to play their role better.
So we see Churn zoning this Cryptus a little bit. It's already a bit of a level lead there, of course, as well. Cryptus being forced under tower as the sun just freezing by the looks of it.
As we return to mid, fortunately for Redwing, he's had a moment to breathe. A lot of ganks have been coming the way of this Poseidon. They're really trying to limit his ability to get to the late game and just force him out and not let him level up, as the ganks are coming in, it looks like.
Ooh, might be a bit of trouble here for the Kraken. Falling about half HP, actually ulting for damage, as the Kraken gets basically immune by the Raven ult. Ruyang going up in the air, Whirlpool down. Ravana still in trouble as he went back in. Atlas ult coming down. Raven, ooh, with a slither of HP, falls back under the tower. As I think this fight is slowly dying out now.
Yeah, luck was in the air. If that Atlas ult was facing the other way, that could have been another kill for Volcanic Lightning, as another pull in from Power. But it looks like nothing's gonna come of it right now. Just a attempted invade of this Greater Scorpion. And it looks like it may have been secured by that dash from King of Darkness.
Yeah, Atlas there. Ooh, as Raven actually gets a pick here on top of the Cabrakan finally. Cabrakan overstayed his welcome just a little bit, as Atlas might be in trouble because of the execute that this Achilles obviously has, but decides to not go for it for now, as we see another invade here for Volcanic Lightning inside of the jungle going for this purple buff, but Cryptus is not gonna give it up for free. Throws it too, but buff being leashed in time, and he will get it actually.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Volcanic Lightning needs to be doing. They have about a 2,000 gold lead here, and they need to keep this pressure up, keep getting these invades, making sure that the enemy team is unable to scale, because Power on this Susano and Redwing on this Poseidon will be absolutely chunking late game. If they can prevent those characters from getting to the late game, that would be a huge boon for Volcanic Lightning.
Yeah, we do not like seeing him late game, as he can deal so much damage in team fights. It's not good for them if it does happen. But for now, they seem to be doing just fine. As we look at the scorelines, we see Raven going 2-0. He has been getting the most benefit, but it's actually this Yuang with only an assist being the highest level right now, as the Nasha and the Kernels do catch up to him towards level 9 now.
Yeah. Black Air Force is just being able to get some of that solo farm, really just trying to stay ahead of Red Wings, and understandable. If you're able to keep this Poseidon out of the game, we won't be seeing these huge team deleting Krakens, so understandable to want to keep your mid laner ahead, give him all the farm he wants, just keep that man happy.
Yeah, keep that man happy indeed, as it will win you video games. As we look at the mid lane, this Cabrakan just slowly... Oh, it's actually an Atlas ult coming down here. Trouble for the Achilles as he ults out. It will be fine for now. Just a 3-man gank looking at him, as they actually turn their attention now towards this Cabrakan running away. But he might be going back in actually, as this Atlas might be a little bit out of position if he gets caught out. Will be fine because of the root from Yu Hang for now. And seems like not much trouble for either team as now, as they leave each other alone. Ooh. But a Naja ult going up in the air for the Achilles. Lots of aggression finally in the solo lane, like we talked about before. No, not much follow-up though. You are obviously very deserted in that solo lane, so if your jungler is not there, as a Naja, you do not have the follow-up that you need for that ult, sadly.
Yeah, unfortunate with this damage build. You're really looking to get picks early, or else when those tank items come online, your solo lane opponent really won't be able to take whatever damage you throw at them. As we see, Patroclus now has a tier 2 breastplate and a Glad Shield online. It's going to be really difficult for Heavy Warcrier to be able to finish off any kills, and Patroclus should be able to take advantage of this squishy Ninja standing across the lane from him.
Yeah, as we see the Trebuchet pushing in mid, I think it will be dealt with the Kraken and the Poseidon. Atlas walking over a ward here, so they know he is there. Looking maybe for the rep buff. No, they actually already got the rep buff down. That's a good invade once again.
What a blink!
Ooh, what a blink indeed. Good pickup by this Ravana. Poseidon dying once again. Trebuchet still pushing down the tower. This Kraken will not fall down for now, as Volcanic Lightning will go 4-0 to this tactical feeders within 10 minutes.
Yeah, pushing about a 3k gold lead now, and again, Black Air Forces now has taken a 2-level lead over Red Wing, so again, they're just playing through their mid lane so effectively, making sure that Red Wing isn't able to get into the game. Unfortunate for him, but that's kind of what you have to deal with when you pick up a Poseidon. No movement ability means you are a prime gank target, and ganked he has been.
Yeah, as we saw Perspective Duck here freezing the wave a little bit. Luckily for him, he does have good ward coverage, so he saw the Susano coming, cleared the wave and got out in time, as Atlas is looking to gank this solo lane. Does grab the Achilles. Nasha with the dash in. This quite a bit of damage. I don't think it will be enough to confirm it just yet. Cabrakan looking from the shadows.
Nishi is nearby. We'll see if he's able to make something happen on Heavy Warcrier.
Ooh, as the walls do go down. About half HP for the Nasha now. Cabrakan does get thrown away together with the Kiddish, but there is Susanoo as the Atlas ult also comes down. There's also the Susanoo ult. Nasha ulting out, but there's a... Ooh, there was a Poseidon in the background ulting for this Atlas to fall down. That's Kraken down, but he will get the Atlas down. As Gold Fury is being pulled by Ravana right now. Churno's there as well. There is ward coverage, so the other team knows, but it will not be in time, so they opt to take the Pyromancer instead. As Nasha is looking at it for maybe a quick steal here. This could be dangerous for Tactical Feeders. The rank is coming down. Tactical Feeders will secure the Pyromancer, but this Nasha is looking very good in this fight as 3 people way too low over him. Chasing the Cabrakan as the Cabrakan will fall down.
Yeah, securing that with the sash. I have to feel like that's the one player you would like Heavy Warcrier to get the kill onto. Unfortunately, that is your support life as Nishi will fall. But what a swing back from Tactical Feeders. Getting a few picks, but Volcanic Lightning able to still, despite that, grow their gold lead to almost 4,000 now. They're just... that Gold Fury is worth more than the Pyro, so unfortunately for Tactical Feeders, they'll be able to keep expanding that gold lead and making sure that they are ahead.
Yeah, it was a Pyro for a Gold Fury trade and a 1-for-1 trade, as we didn't even talk about it, but we did see this Ravana fall down towards this. Keep that fall, this Susanoo is going in big on the tower, but this Nasha will just ult out and be fine. Like I was saying, this Ravana did fall down to the Susanoo while we were watching this Pyromancer fight. But like you were saying, this Volcanic Lightning team will just extend their lead by taking all these invades, and they just slowly build up to like a pretty massive lead for them.
Yeah, 4,000 gold isn't a huge lead, but we'll get back to that thought once this pause is over. We will be right back.
taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to
Welcome back. Sorry for the quick pause, but we are back in this game. It's currently 5-2, about 14.5 minutes in. Volcanic Lightning versus Tactical Feeders. Welcome back.
As we're getting into it, both teams just kind of collecting their farm for the time being. It looked like Perspective Duck just took away the purple buff, and that's kind of been the name of Volcanic Lightning's game, playing through this mid lane and invading buff camps on cooldown, making sure that this lead that they have continues to grow. Power scrapping it up.
Nasha being in a bit of trouble here, will get out just fine, but does have to give up once again. Might have to back as well, will go for the backhands, but as we see in mid, a bit of grouping, but nothing much yet. This Cabrakan might be in a bit of trouble though, as the root will be found by the Churnanos, will just stun away, but Ravana blinking will not connect with the root, so this Kraken will live to find another day.
And not a lot invested into that, so not the worst. But if we're on the side of Volcanic Lightning, we have to, we want to be hitting pay dirt with these ganks. Any unsuccessful gank just gives Tactical Feeders time to farm, time to maybe regain some of those buff camps that have been invaded consistently. So if you're Volcanic Lightning, you definitely want to be collecting more off these ganks than just getting some relics or ultimates down.
But they will need a lot of it. Looking at this duo lane, seeing this Sun being in a comfortable 2-level lead, being an entire item up actually, and Wind Demon is not the cheapest item in the game, as I don't think Evan Lee Kid has had a single purple yet after the first one, as this Susanoo does gank and the Churnanos will fall down. This is pretty big for this Charybdis. Well, actually, second purple buff of the game will be the one of the enemy, which is quite funny.
Yeah, just a huge opportunity for Evan Lee. He's an absolutely insane mechanical player. I've been playing with him for a while, and he does some nutty stuff, so giving him a chance to breathe is absolutely huge for the Tactical Feeders. And not only that, but taking Perspective Duck off the map, another dominant ADC, getting down both the relics and stifling his farm for just a moment is exactly what Evan needed to catch back up.
Hold that thought as we see Nasha going in. Ooh, a little bit off the mark with the ultimate. I think she would have preferred to hit the Susanoo here, as she will be executed because of it. And that's a free kill turned into a death. That is sad for this Nasha.
Yeah, that's exactly where you don't want to be. Unfortunately, I believe, as you said, was looking to pick up power with the ultimate, but good body blocks from Patroclus to make sure that that didn't happen, and then finding the execute. Good mechanical play from Patro to make sure that they were able to turn around that kill and not give up one in return.
Yeah, definitely. As I think this Susanoo and this Achilles are the two driving stones of Tactical Feeders to keep them in this game right now. We do see the lead being closed down to about half of what it was last time we talked about it. So Tactical Feeders are doing a good job trying to get back. As we see this Susanoo fighting and actually being in a bit of trouble here, will get out with that high mobility we talked about before, but not before getting this Raven ult down. Will pay with it for his own ult though.
As you just said, the side lanes from both sides are about even now, so Tactical Feeders really doing their best catch-up job they can. But Red Wing, unfortunately for the Tactical Feeder, is still 2 levels down, as practically he's caught out here.
Ooh, this might be big, as the Achilles is all alone against 5 people. Big fight going down as the Kraken ult. Now it's actually completely turned around. Kraken going down, a bit off the mark I think, as the Nasha went up in the air. Susanoo getting the kill on top of the Ravana, Susanoo getting the double kill on top of the Naja as this fight is slowly dying out. But Susanoo making absolutely massive plays, getting 2 kills once again, and for the first time they are actually looking in a kill lead right now.
And Gold Fury appears to be on the menu. I was gonna say health bars from tactical theaters a little bit low, so I wasn't entirely sure that they would be able to stick this. But Power's going in.
Blinking back in, getting the dash and actually killing the Atlas solo there with Yuang being close. Impressive plays here by Power as they will pull the Gold Fury now. Kraken is still down, so they do not have confirm, but it's only turn over here to try and do something about it. So the tactical feeders will confirm this Gold Fury as Sun is actually looking in trouble now. If it wasn't for the crits, will still fall down just in time to Evan Lee hit, but almost killed the Achilles and well, on his way to the grave.
And what a turnaround for tactical theaters. This is the first time since about 2 minutes. Yeah, we said earlier 2-minute gold, 1,000 gold lead. So this is the last time they've been this close. And
Ooh, as Charybdis gets another pick on the Yuan here.
yeah, just a little bit of a meltdown from Volcanic Lightning. Tactical feeders have been taking all these fights, getting all the neutral objectives, and Power has been such a driving force for this team. Him and Patro have been in the enemy backline, scrapping it up. Patro has walked away barely alive a few times now, but we have to attribute that to this tankier build. Just being able to survive that little bit more has been such an important factor in these fights.
Pyromancer being pulled, it's already quite low as the Kraken comes down, does not die just yet, but they will confirm it right after. Achilles ult tried to snipe it away, almost got it actually. Sorry, not Achilles, that's Atlas, my bad. As it will almost got it, but just a little bit off the mark. I think it was a little bit late over there, but good try nonetheless.
For the first time this game, tactical feeders have actually secured themselves a gold lead. And we were talking about it earlier, the mid lane matchup. Red Wings has finally caught up to Black Air Forces, so these Krakens are gonna be hitting hard now as that Poseidon has reached level 16. He's got an Ob chart online, he's got damage coming in, and I'm curious to see what impact he'll have in these next upcoming team fights.
Yes, yes. As we go into another pause here, so we do have a quick break and we'll see you right after. Welcome back, as we're 22 minutes in with Volcanic Lightning against Tactical Fetus. We are back.
Yeah. Teams are looking almost even. A few level leads in the jungle and support, but this game is so even at this point. Tactical Feeder's only with less than 1,000 gold lead, so it's really anyone's game at this point. But man, I gotta give this at this point to the Tactical Feeders. I think their comp just scales so well into the late game. I'm curious to see if they'll be able to execute it though.
Fire Giant being pulled here by the Tactical Feeders. It seems like Volcanic Lightning does know about it as they're grouping up around it, but can they even do something against it? Raven blinking in a bit early. Fire Giant still at about a 20% HP, as it will fall down towards the Tactical Feeders. I think the Kraken confirmed it, as Charybdis gets the first kill here. Atlas being in trouble as well. This might just be a full-on deicide if they don't back off quick enough. That is Atlas falling down towards the execute. Still going under the tier 2 tower here. Will fall down a little bit now, as the tier 1 tower is still standing. But that's Fire Giant and a double kill for the Tactical Feeders over here.
Tactical Feeders just got opportunities. They made plays with their gangs, and it allowed their side lanes to get back into the match. And slowly after, Red Wing followed. And now, Tactical Feeders, despite not having a huge gold lead, have a commanding lead in the momentum column. And that is absolutely huge, as it looks like they will be tearing down these towers shortly and shoring up that gold lead for sure.
Yeah, Perspective Duck will get at least some tower damage back here at the tier 2 in mid. We'll have to back in time to not get caught out, as Nasha is looking here at a Susanoo. But that's a Susanoo level 20 with Fire Giant. I don't think you win that.
No, Powa is doing so much. He's almost full build. He's able to upgrade that starter item whenever he backs if he has the gold. Powa is probably the last person I want to run into in the jungle, and as we say, it upgrades to the protector of the jungle, so going to be a little tankier, a little more attack speed. I don't want to see Powa anywhere near me if I'm on tactical or Volcanic Lightning rather.
Yeah, for sure. As we see this Poseidon, level 18 by now, still 0-2, hasn't quite gotten a pick yet. This Raven might be a bit of trouble. We'll get out. As I was saying about this Poseidon, we were talking about it for the entire early game. This Poseidon gets late, he will do some damage with that Kraken. I think, as the Volcanic Lightning, you should be very scared right now, as he's walking up here. Volcanic Lightning falling back a bit. Obviously, the Tactical Fetus does have Fire Giant, so it's reason to be a bit scared.
Yeah, looks like they're going to take the Primal Fury now. And looking at Poseidon's build, it's got damage from the Doom Orb, Anti-Heal and Flat Pen from the Divine Rune, Obshart, and what I assume is going to be a Soul Reaver. He's going to be absolutely shredding tanks with those last two items, so Krakens can be hitting on literally anyone, and huge damage will follow for sure. If you're Volcanic Lightning, you gotta watch out where you're standing, or you might be getting gobbled up by a Kraken.
Yeah, and with the way Poseidon works, forget running away from him, especially with this Doom Orb and his passive as well. He must be the fastest god in this game right now.
I have to imagine he is. Maybe only the Sasana would be able to keep up with him, but they're on the same team, so why does it matter? As almost all of the towers have fallen now. Looks like a bit of a soft defense from the Volcanic Lightning.
Yeah, this tier 2 will fall down though. As the Tactical Fetus do not push on towards the Phoenix, playing it safe for now. Probably looking at this Pyromancer over here, with the dying last seconds of the Fire Giant.
And I really like this call from the Tactical Feeders to play it a little bit slow and wait maybe until this next Fire Giant comes up to make sure they've worked so hard to this point to get this gold lead, and it'd be such a shame if they threw it away by overextending, giving up the deicide, and then not being ready for when the Fire Giant spawns. So I like this play. It looks like their obelisk is almost full, so they'll have a trebuchet to push with whenever it is time for the Fire Giant. So I like what they're doing, just getting their farm, getting whatever buffs they can, and getting ready for the Fire Giant.
As we look at the player damage here in the top left of our screen, we see Poseidon being the second to last. That's actually a bit surprising to me. I would love for this man to start hitting his enemies and not only the objectives. Obviously, he's been very well with securing this objective so far with his Kraken. But I think if he starts like killing the enemy as well, this game might be over.
Yeah, I definitely think upgrading the starter, he's finished his Soul Reaver, he already has an Obsidian Shard. He has built to delete people, and right now, I expect in these up-and-coming team fights that he will be able to absolutely delete health bars and climb that damage chart. Look at Red Wing in these next few team fights.
As the fight seems to be just around the corner here, Fire Giant will respawn within seconds now. Nasha does decide to back. Does not have teleport, so this might be a good opportunity for Tactical Fetus to actually pull it. Will get the bubble down from the Atlas here, so no security for him as he didn't build beats. Sorry for stumbling off my words over there. Fire Giant still not being pulled. Both teams just looking at it a little bit. Susanoo blinking in, does not get anything just yet. And still it's just a big stare down.
Yeah, both these teams are at a point where a deicide could be detrimental and even game ending, so not wanting to overstep and lose what they worked so hard to get to this point. But somebody's gonna have to do it eventually, and if we wait another minute, EFG will be up, and that enhanced Fire Giant will be even more of a scary thing to lose. So I'm curious to see if these teams are gonna make a play for Fire Giant before it's enabled, or gonna just wait the minute. It looks like Pacho's going in. No, unfortunately not. We're hoping for some action here, but not a lot of it.
I think, like you're saying, they're just mostly waiting for this EFG to spawn. As this Achilles goes a bit deep, will that get picked up here? Still alive, but will fall down in the end to the Churnanos. But on the other hand, it's the Nasha, also in trouble, being very low, still alive somehow, will fall down in the end. That's the Charybdis at black solo HP. There comes the Kraken, does not connect sadly. And so far, it's just a 1-for-1, but a lot of low people on Tactical Feeders, and that might cost him the Fire Giant. Fire Giant being pulled now.
Kraken is down. Secure for Tactical Feeders is gone. EFG is now here.
As we do see the extra damage being pulled out here, and the Volcanic Lightning will actually secure it, as Perspective Duck gets a kill onto the Kraken. That's another death for Tactical Fetus. And they only lost the Nasha, so that's 4 people with Fire Giant. Enhanced Fire Giant, might I add. As this game just turned around again completely.
Yeah, as we saw earlier, maybe not a gold lead for Volcanic Lightning, as it was the Tactical Feeders earlier, but that momentum has swung heavily back into their favor with that enhanced Fire Giant. The Trebuchet pushing down Duo is going to be absolutely nothing for Perspective Duck and Cube to take out. That falls. Interesting to see if they'll be able to take out these towers. They should be able to do it with ease, but will they then look for a Phoenix? We'll find out.
Everyone has respawned for now as the Gold Fury is being pulled by the Volcanic Lightning. I reckon they get this pretty freely, and they will. It's an Oni Fury, so that does mean there is going to be powerful minions spawning to push with them for the next wave.
And those Oni minions hit hard, so Tactical Feeders will need to be careful when those waves spawn to make sure that they don't let those towers, or those minions rather, make it to a Phoenix, because they could be doing some heavy work for Volcanic Lightning.
Yeah, as this tier 2 will fall down, obviously the backdoor protections are gone with this enhanced Fire Giant. Looking towards the mid tower, not quite a Phoenix just yet. As the tactical feeder seems to just give it to them. They do not want to contest this right now.
Stepping up to a team with enhanced fire giant is such a difficult call to make. I understand why the tactical feeders want to sit in their base a little bit, take the time to fortify, and rightfully so, I think. If you get picked at a tower line, it's hard to say that you didn't make a mistake. You have to play safe. You have to be there when your team is ready to defend the Phoenix Siege, and it looked like Volcanic Lightning were about to, but falling back and perhaps going to spend some of that gold first before trying to push for that Phoenix.
Also looking at the Pyromancer here, getting a quick way back towards the middle of the map. It's always nice, especially after spending this gold. I would assume they mostly all back now. And yeah, get full build. Prepare for the last fight, as it very well might be.
Yeah, I imagine this next fight around a Phoenix could indeed be the last fight, as both teams now around level 20 outside of the supports, both sitting at level 17, which they've already upgraded their starters, so that's basically the support equivalent of being level 20. And all the Oni waves have also already fallen, so this should be a pretty even fight, except for the Volcanic Lightning do still have that Fire Giant enhanced by the 30-minute mark on 4. So looks like this dual lane Phoenix is about to be under some serious duress, and tactical feeders are nowhere to be found.
Yeah, they will get this Phoenix here for basically free. The Susanoo does come out as the Phoenix is already falling down. The only thing they got so far is the churn beats. That's even worth mentioning. He also ults after it, but that's not that big of a deal. They get a Phoenix with the dying embers of this Fire Giant, as the Fire Giant is indeed over now. But Tactical Feed is definitely not out of this game yet.
Yeah, I think the tactical feeders are just accepting that Volcanic Lightning weren't going to make a Phoenix push and got caught out a little bit. They weren't ready for Volcanic Lightning to step up and take that Phoenix, and when the Fire Giant comes up, somebody's going to have to deal with those fire waves pouring into the duo side, or their Titan will be taking a lot of damage. So tactical feeders really going to have to make a decision on whether they want to, on who they want to send back to defend those Fire Giant or Fire Minions rather, and who will be able to stand and fight for the Fire Giant. Because I don't think at this point they can afford to give up an EFG.
Yeah, this next stare down is going to be pretty big for Volcanic Lightning, as they have one person less, but that's actually the Achilles falling down for tactical feeders already. The Atlas living with half an HP as the Raven will fall down. Nasha getting a pick back, but that's a 2-for-1.
Those autos were hitting so hard from Perspective Duck. Evan's health bar just got deleted. He went from over half HP to basically 1 in a mere instant, and now tactical feeders fighting the 3v4. I'm not sure they'll be able to defend this. They have fire minions pushing in. I think they just have to back.
But can they afford it? If they back now, the EFG does go towards the Volcanic Lightning again. But then again, what's more important, the Fire Giant or your Titan? By the end of the day, it's all about saving your Titan. But for now, they did not back just yet. Maybe just waiting for this Achilles to respawn, as Fire Giant is being pulled. About half HP already. F1 being zoned pretty well, the Kraken is looking at it, as it will just go down to Volcanic Lightning. Nasha in the air will get the ult on top of the Susanoo. As Kraken also fall down, Kraken misses his mark, but will get the side on a bit of breathing room. Nasha chasing a will land the sash, as Poseidon now in a lot of trouble. The churn dashing in, that's one base and he's dead. There it is. Yes. That EFG churn noise right now will 2-hit you any time of the day. Minions coming in, Phoenix is already dead. And they might be looking for the end him.
Evan has all of it to do against 4 with EFG. That Titan's gone.
Titan going low. Titan actually falling down as we end game 1. GG's to the Volcanics as they win game 1.
As we wait for the stats to come up here, Volcanic Lightning really did do a good job of punishing the small mistakes made by the tactical feeders. Patrocles getting picked out before that first Fire Giant fight really snowballed that team fight in the favor of Volcanic Lightning. And then tactical feeders showing up to the EFG before it had spawned and just letting Volcanic Lightning take their Phoenix. Some small mistakes, but in essence, that's what cost them the game.
Yeah, they were down in kills until the very end, but did bring it home. And that's props to them. They played very well, as they had a little bit of a stumble among the mid game, but for most of this game, they were looking very good. As we end game 1 here, 1-0 for the Volcanic against,
Lightning.
the Volcanic Lightning.
Volcanic Lightning versus Tactical Feeders. We will see you guys in game 2 shortly.
And welcome back to game 2 of Volcanic Lightning against the Tactical Fetus.
My name's Joywolffe. He's Jeffrey. Let's get into it.
As we head on to the bans, as we see Hades being first banned once again. Still a very strong pick. What else is there to say about it?
Hades is just so effective. He builds lifesteal really well. Disruptive with that Pillar of Agony ultimate, being able to get into the backline, lock everyone down, force out movement abilities or beads, and just an absolute menace in any backline. And speaking of a menace, Daji, again, as you said, being able to disrupt pull beads, or if you're poor soul who was caught without beads, just getting ripped back into the powwow, it's not where you want to be. Understandable Daji ban here.
As we see Ishtar and Cupid also being banned now. And so far, it's just the same bans as last time. No targeted bans from last game yet. What do you think about this?
You know, I honestly understand where these teams are coming from. This game really could have gone either way. And I'm curious. So, I don't think this was a specific god pick that won last game. I think it was just certain teams capitalizing on the mistakes of others and some good shot calling. So definitely understand where they're coming from, keeping the same bans. And again, a Najal locked in. What's your take on that?
Well, I really liked Naja last game. Had some very impactful ults, especially that Poseidon pick in the end with the Sash as well. I like this Nasha and the damage she can bring. Can be a bit scary in the early game, especially when you do not go that much defense in the solo lane, but who knows, maybe it does go to the jungler or the support this time.
Yeah, the teams have switched, so tactical feeders are the order side team, so it will be not be going back to heavy warcrier. That is the one thing we are able to confirm, and yeah, I'm curious to see if this will be a jungle Ninja. I'm not entirely sure that Patroclus plays the Ninja in the solo, but he plays all sorts of things, so I wouldn't be surprised in a Shiva and a Kukulin.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing this Shiva. Was obviously being banned out in the second phase last time, so being picked up a bit earlier here as we see the Churnanos. Churnanos wrecking last game as well, but once again for the other team, this time as King Arthur is also being locked in.
I'm noticing from the tactical feeders right now, three characters that are extremely effective at burning beads. King Arthur can burn a single set of beads. Ninja is usually good for a set of beads. Cernanos ult is something you definitely want to purify if at all possible. So a lot of setup coming out from the tactical feeders, and I'm really curious to see. I have to imagine this is going to be a Shiva jungle, unless it's a Shiva support. So I'm really curious to see, as I haven't seen Shiva in quite a while, what this pick is going to be able to do.
As we see how Yi being locked in last, good against this crit meta obviously, just a solid pick in general. It was banned out last time once again, so it makes sense that they pick it here. As we go to the banning phase of, well, the second banning phase, we see Vulcan, Capri, and Poseidon being banned so far. No Krakens this time. I think Poseidon didn't make that much of a difference last time. He ended up being the second to last in player damage. I don't see why they're banning it out, but maybe you know more about it.
Well, it is the tactical feeders who were piloting the Poseidon the first game who are banning it out now, so perhaps they don't want Volcanic Lightning to be able to pick up that Poseidon in game 2. And three really good burst mages all taken off the table for game 2. I wonder where these mid laners are going to look when it comes to their time to pick, because the mid pool has been under a lot of duress in this last phase of bans.
Yeah, as both mid laners still need to pick, we might always obviously see one of those hunters in mid now, as it is still available and pretty good right now. But we might also just see a traditional mage, but like you were saying, a lot of mages being banned out right now, so I do wonder which one will be locked in next.
Yeah, the mid pool is. I was just about to say, do we see an assassin mid? And as this Pele is locked in, I have a feeling that Pele is going to be going into the mid lane. So really, we could see anything from this point from the tactical feeders. I'm curious to see what they're going to go to. Merlin's almost always a safe pick, I feel like.
Yeah, Merlin is a very great pick. This Pele, if it does go mid like you're assuming, that might be a very interesting and juicy one that can either go very well or very wrong.
Yeah, Pele is so quick, so agile, able to get into team fights really well, disrupt what this Merlin is trying to do, but also not the safest god. So we'll see what kind of mischief the tactical feeders are able to bring into their mid lane to disrupt this potential Pele pick.
As Cheng Chen is finally being locked in, it got hovered for quite a bit. I think it's a solid pick. A good pick, as Discordia actually gets hovered here and locked in now, so I don't think that's a Pele mid after all. That's sad, but who knows.
We'll see where these picks end up in game 2 after a short break. We will be right back.
And welcome back as we start with game 2 with the tactical feeders versus Volcanic Lightning. Volcanic Lightning being 1-0 up. It's a beats burner team against a bursty team. Welcome back.
Yeah. Unfortunately for the Volcanic Lightning, we see Cube on the Pele. I thought Black Air Forces might be taking that into the mid lane, but unfortunately, Discordia locked in. My heart is heavy, but I'm sure Cube will have a fun time on this Pele. So let's get into the action for game number 2.
As we watch the duo lane here, it's pretty even and clear so far. I think the Churn and the Chin will just get it a second earlier, they will, but both teams being already level 2, so no big advantage over there just yet, as they just test each other out a little bit. Naja might be in a bit of trouble here, as Kukulan already raged, but no big follow-up.
Yeah, it looked like Heavy Warcryer was about to go on a little bit of a rampage over there. Mix it up, get in there, but not yet. Patroclus is already really low, so Heavy Warcryer is just kind of getting to run around, rage up, and have his way with that side of the lane.
As the oracles are being pulled by the tactical feeders, that's a little bit of an early lead so far. Naja actually looking for a gank here. I don't think they know. This might be trouble for Volcanic Lightning early on. Dash going in. Naja's just hitting the mark. That's a very low Shiva, and it's a dead Shiva actually, going back to the grave.
Yeah, tactical feeders headed over for the oracles, and then off the back of it, a very nice gank to help set the pace of this game for them. I have to imagine that'll be a huge thorn in the side of the dual lane for Volcanic Lightning. The lack of that first blood gold is so hard to fight into. So I imagine we'll see a lot of action from the tactical feeder side of the dual lane.
As we love seeing a busy dual lane as always. Leave this King Arthur and this Kukulan to just fight their own game. Gank this dual lane all day, every day, baby.
Yeah, I imagine that Powa might make some return trips, get some frequent flyer miles to the dual lane.
You will have to now. If you don't, you will just lose this game. As yeah, there's no big invade just yet. Just everyone going for their own buff so far. It's at least good to see.
Something worth noting, Evan has opted for the shell over purification beads early in this one. Granted, the ricochet stun, if you're getting hit by that, the ricochet is, you don't need to purify the ricochet. The stun's already taking you out. It'll just delete you. So kind of understandable why the shell is picked up, but as Patroclus, it's under duress in solo.
Pele does decide to gank the solo lane here, indeed. Out of mana though, so cannot follow up, unfortunately, and his King Arthur will just walk away. As a fight breaks out, big double root from the Ching Chen here. Half HP on both targets. No follow-up once again though. Just testing the water.
Yeah, both teams just kind of doing a bit of a damage check, seeing where they're standing at, as no one has hit level 5 yet in the dual lane, but I have to imagine the tactical beaters will be there first, as Perspective Duck jumping in.
Nice bounce as well. Shiva being low though cannot go back in, I would assume. So I don't think they want to fight here.
Yeah. King of Darkness has used all of his potions, so he won't be getting any additional HP sustained from that. So I imagine he's going to be backing soon, but he did reach level 5, so maybe they'll try and pick something up cheeky, but nah, just gonna back.
Ultimates available all around the board now. I think things might get spicy soon now.
Yeah, I'd love to see some action now that these ultimates are up for quite literally everyone on the board, seeing 10 of those full blue diamonds. So I wonder where the action's going to be at though. Last game we saw a lot of focus from Volcanic Lightning on the mid lane, but Merlin's a little bit safer than a Poseidon, so I think it'd be a little difficult to be ganking this Merlin like that.
King Arthur going up in the air, taking a big amount of time from this rage down. Doesn't really want to fight though, as the minions are still all there. Kukulin just going for his farm, going towards the blue buff. As we see Shiva looking at this Qingshan and Cern here, but they back just before he can do anything about it.
Yeah.
Still no...
Go
My
ahead.
apologies. Still no invades anywhere on the board for now. They're just all going for the buffs, playing it pretty passively. I would really like to see something happen here, as we see Pele looking at the mid lane, but I think Merlin knew and he walked away just in time.
Yeah, Redwing is got a bad taste in his mouth from game 1 apparently, but just gonna make sure that he isn't the target of all those ganks coming his way, as King of Darkness looking at Evan.
Ooh. Evan might be in a bit of trouble, but seems to go out just in time. I don't think this Yi wanted to go on that, as he was just clearing his wave. Makes sense, you do want to get those wave minions. If you miss them, you might fall behind, even if you do get the kill.
Yeah, it looked like King of Darkness might have just been showing up, maybe hoping to burn off those beads with the pull, but nothing of that sort.
Pele blinking in just a little bit off the mark after Merlin just comes out, but here comes the Yi ult, that shell being used. Churn being out for now. Oh, but Nasha hits the ult! Amazing ult by Nasha. Yi living with half an HP. Shell coming out. Shiva healing with the ult as well. Yi still alive. Finally dies to the ring toss. But now Churn is low and there's a Pele. Pele being really fast ulting. Might use this Nasha to actually ult offer, as she might just kill the Nasha instead. This Churn being alive is abysmal, as Nasha also gets out with half an HP. Ching actually ulting them under tower, getting 2 of them. Huh, what a play by Ni. Nishu with
Nishi.
Nishu with this
Beautiful whirlwind of Rage and Steel, just picking up those kills for his squad. It such a scary play. It looked like Cube would have been able to pick up the kill onto Evan, but alas, he gets out and to the tune of 2 extra kills. So for the tactical feeders, you have to be breathing a heavy sigh of relief and being thankful for that little victory over in the duo lane.
Yeah, as Volcanic Lightning might feel pretty terrible about that one. Yi in trouble once again, as Nasha is still in his lane, going up in the air again as well. Yi dying on impact. Unfortunate.
And
As
it looks
Volcanic.
like that was all.
Not all in the solo lane though, as Pele is going in, trying to do something in return. King Arthur still alive. Will he fall down? So little HP once again. If you're Volcanic Lightning right now, you're eating yourself up. As tactical feeders get the Gold Fury as well, and the Shiva. Volcanic Lightning is getting so unlucky in these fights.
Yeah, well played from the tactical feeders. Playing through this dual lane pressure that they've established. Ganking consistently when those beads are down on Perspective Duck, and turning some simple ganks into now a Gold Fury before the Pyromancer has even spawned. So they'll be ready when that is up. Unfortunately, Patroclus has been getting ganked in return. Volcanic Lightning trying to make pressure in the opposite side of the map, as teams do, but only falling once. Despite that though, Heavy Warcrier has established himself about a level and a half lead in the solo lane, so it's going to be really hard for Patroclus to box. Or maybe not.
King Arthur going up in the air though, he is not scared of one simple level, by the looks of it. Nothing, no kill potential just yet though, as they will just be slapping each other, but this Kukulin going about half HP is a bit scary for him if this Pele decides to show up again. Pele, not over there though, she is with the Shiva for now.
Yeah, and if we do look at the builds in the solo lane, the builds are equal except for this double lead, as Disco getting picked out here.
Discordia all down, but that's Nasha going up in the air once again. What a pick that has been so far. Merlin confirming the kill on Discordia as it's 7-1 now. Pyromancer being looked at.
How 100% kill participation so far. He is making things happen. The CC from this Naja has enabled so much. And as I said, 10-minute mark and Tactical Feeders have the Pyro. They got their pick in mid, set up for the Pyromancer, and got it. They are playing this game so beautifully already.
Yes, they're playing it quite perfect so far, as they have leads all across the board except for the solo lane. They're doing very well for themselves.
Yeah. Heavy Warcrier is so...
Ooh. Great beats by Power.
Yeah, absolutely. Heavy Warcrier is going to be such a difficult target to bring down, though. I kind of have to imagine you leave Patro on an island for a little bit as Power gets taken out.
Power will fall down for the first time this match. That's very big for Volcanic Lightning. To get him back, get a big bounty from that, I would assume, with Power being so far ahead. As this is not over yet. King Arthur going in the air. Ching is standing around there together, with Spele being close. But nothing much will come from it for now.
I was gonna say, these solo laners are so tanky at this point, I can't imagine much comes out of it. I understand the Tactical Feeders wanting to help get Patroclus back into this game, but Heavy Warcrier is just so hard to bring down. These ganks are gonna need a little bit more if they want to do so. Maybe rotating Nishi as well on this Jing TN to be able to disrupt Heavy Warcrier a bit more to really enable that gank, but as it stands, I don't think bringing just Power over is going to be the call. Maybe even just let Patroclus sit on an island for a little bit and, you know, unfortunately he is behind, but as long as he isn't getting himself soloed like he's only died once, so definitely capable of, as they are brawling it up again.
Going up in the air once again is this King Arthur. They're slapping each other so much. I would assume they're about top damage, both of them, as this rage does come out. Good immune by both dashes. And yeah, we do confirm now as that both of them are on top of their team for the damage for now.
Patroclus falling low, but not able to finish up is Heavy Warcrier. Like I said, Patroclus is able to survive quite a bit, so I imagine you just keep trying to push your leads where you have them and accept it. Maybe our solo laner will be a little bit behind, but, you know, we're winning on every other facet of the map, so I guess that'd be an acceptable loss if you are the Tactical Feeders.
As Pele is going in here on the Ching. Basic attacks doing about half damage now because of the one from Ching, which is a pretty cool mechanic. Rage coming out once again, scaring off the Nasha. That might have been a good gank if that wasn't the case. Nasha just opting to go for her XP camps here, playing it safe for now. But that's a blue buff, maybe being denied for the King Arthur. He's not allowed to pick it up by this Kukulin. Will he get it? He will get it, but might actually fear for his life now as he's falling very low. He obviously is very tanky. Will this Kukulin start tower diving the tier 1 though is the question. He will get stunned under it, about half HP.
Yeah. Well played by Patroclus to use that stun to make sure that Heavy Warcrier wasn't able to get near him as Jingtian knockup coming out. Not much following.
But now the
big
Kukulin is
gank.
out of position. The rage does come through, but Power is here together with Red Wings, as Red Wings will get the kill. Gold Fury being looked at though. Gold Fury already for half HP, but it does get least as the ult from the Discordia comes out. That is the Ching Chen falling down already. Pele ulting in. Gold Fury is being pulled once again and it's about half HP. Merlin running over there together with his churn to try and stop this. Nasha in the back as well as Gold gets leashed once again. Volcanic Lightning with a man advantage over there, but they do not dare to stick to it.
Understandable, as reinforcements were coming for the Tactical Feeders, and only having their support down for the tactical feeders, you have to imagine that's a favorable fight for you. But I wonder how soon it'll be before these teams turn back to the Gold Fury again. These teams have been sticking to the objectives rather quickly, so not surprised at all to see it picked up again here.
Pink's coming out as it's being pulled once again. About half HP. It's actually falling low very fast as tactical feeders will get this. Nasha in the air with the Haoyi ult underneath it. Immediate Ching ult as well. I assume this Haoyi falls down. Jumps out for now, but does get picked up as we get a lot of kills all across the board over here. There's in the background we see Pele being very low. Kill being picked up. Double kill for the Merlin. What is going on right now? Why the Kukulin going in, low HP, dying towards the tick damage from this Ching, as that's a 2 for 4. That's big for the tactical feeders.
That's absolutely huge for the tactical feeders, and so much went right for them. That was such a beautifully coordinated team fight. Powa, as the suns were dropped on him, taking up perspective duck, completely negating that ultimate from the Huyi, and when they came crashing back down, Nishi was sitting there waiting with the Whirlwind of Rage and Steel to pick him up and make sure that he had nowhere to go. Just beautifully choreographed team fight from the tactical feeders. Really looks like something they've practiced before.
As they're looking for the Pyromancer now as well. Shiva being there to disruptive, but how much can you do as a Shiva support at this point in the game? It's 4 against 1. 5 against 1 now with Churn joining in as well. Tactical feeders will get the Pyromancer pretty much uncontested as the rest of the team is just a little bit late to get there.
And we're seeing about 4.5, 5,000 gold lead for the tactical feeders. They've really managed to bust this game wide open in their favor. Just winning these objective fights, taking the objectives, they are doing everything right for the most part.
Yeah, definitely. As for now things seems to be calmed down a little bit. Fire Giant did spawn obviously like a while ago. That might be an option to check out, as we do not see too much grouping around it for now. There's a bit of ward coverage there for the tactical feeders. As the King Arthur goes in the air once again together with this Kukulin. Two boys slapping each other again, but Shiva coming in to assist his solo lane here is not necessary as the King Arthur just dashes out.
And Patro have been able to close up this XP lead by a little bit, only about 1 level, maybe still a level and a half, but again, just doing his best to stay alive. And Whirlwind of Rage and Steel in the back line.
Ching ulting this Discordia here, forcing the apple to come out. I think that's worth it for the Ching.
Yeah, trading ult for ult, not a bad thing. You're working on that Pridwin, it looks like. Will give you some more CDR for the future.
Minion stopping the Haoyi back for a second there as I saw 4 men walking towards it. Did manage to back in time though before everyone could collapse on him.
That would have been a scary position, getting ganked by 4 at this point in the match. Patricles blinks in.
Pele being a bit out of position, being forced to ult out and still being chased by this King Arthur over him.
And not a lot coming out of that. Some blinks, some ults, some cooldowns, but not a lot else really happening due to that. I wonder if now tactical feeders look like they're starting to group up for the Fire Giant. Is now the time?
We're going towards stare-downs of the Fire Giant once again. I wonder who's going to start it, as Pele is falling low him. Ability is just a little bit off the mark. It can happen. King Arthur though, going in very confidently, as now Nasha going in as well. Now he beats and ult coming out. Shiva already ulting as well. As in the background, it's just the Kukulin together with this Merlin. That's scary for this Merlin, but his team coming back to assist him.
Yeah, Heavy Warcry was so caught out there, and Cube trying to come back in, but I don't know if he's going to be able to make the difference.
But this solo laners, both of them being so extremely tanky, like we said before, they managed to both get out scot-free, which is maybe a little bit surprising over here, but that tankiness is surely coming in clutch right now.
Yeah, definitely. Both these solo laners are so hard to bring down. I mean, we see it 1 2 2 2 2 2 slash lines from the tactical feeders and Volcanic Lightning solo laners respectively. They are hard to bring down, but they are getting in there. They're disrupting these team fights, and Volcanic Lightning starting the Fire Giant.
Actually pulling the Fire Giant right now. It does get spotted by this King Arthur over here. So Tactical Feeders knows is coming over as Power in the background here dodges the Pele ult, still takes a lot of damage, so goes in the air. King Arthur actually dying towards this Yi, and now Power is in trouble as well as she falls down to Pele. Pele herself, though being low, is forced to go out. Churn being looked at by the Kukulen now. Does have crit, might get his way out of here, but this solo laner doing a lot of damage, being thrown away by this Ching. Supports helping out his carries to make them live another day. But that's 2 people down for the tactical feeders, and that's not what we were expecting over there.
No. This is the second time now in this set. Patroclus dives a little too deep and just gets picked out around this Fire Giant. If the tactical feeders want to stay in these games, they've got to stir up these overly aggressive calls. Make sure that they're not diving too deep. Show a little self-control and make sure they're still staying in it.
As we go back to just the Fire Giant deaths there, neither team wanting to pull it right now. Pyromancer being an option as well. Obviously a bit safer, a bit quicker to pull, a bit quicker to burst down. And a lot less scary to lose if it does get stolen.
Yeah, Pyromancer, the low risk option here, but it looks like the team tactical feeders just dropping it. Even though it's not as high risk as a Fire Giant, both teams are so cautious about pulling this Pyromancer. Both teams don't want to lose out the fight and then lose out on this big objective, the Fire Giant.
As Naja is in mid right now, King Arthur coming back in. It's only 3 people for the tactical feeders actually here to stop this Pyromancer, where it's 5 of Volcanic Lightning, as they will also get the Pyromancer. But I don't know if the fight for them after is good. Ching being very low there. Actually living with the skin of his teeth as Pele gets picked out by this Merlin. That's Ching not being able to go back in the fight, but this Shiva also being very low. As we see King Arthur blink in on top of this Kukulen. I heard Naja in the air in the background as well.
This looks like this might be the end of the team fight. Patroclus just on zone duty at this point, but my goodness, Nishi staying alive from Cube ulting him was so huge, not allowing this Pele to get the pick and turning around all the damage right onto Cube. Such a play coming out from Nishi to make sure.
Fire Giant being low now, actually being picked up by the tactical feeders as Naja goes in the air once again, picking up this Kukulen as well. That's your probably most tanky guy down together with this Shiva. He will have to do all the saving for his carries right now, as they're looking at this tier 2 tower over here being grouped up still in the solo lane.
And I imagine at this point, tactical feeders are just looking to sweep these towers. These close team fights have been so back and forth. You really want to assure any easy lead that you can get. So taking these towers, going back, spending up the gold. I imagine that that's the team, the call that tactical feeders will be feeling the safest to make.
Yeah, definitely. They got that tier 2 tower, and now the call is get level 20, spend that gold, and absolutely win right after, if they can. We have seen Volcanic Lightning fighting back in positions like this before. They did it even last game, so who knows what might happen. But for now, They're going back towards the safety net. Fire Giant, they still got it for a pretty long time as they're actually pinging the Primal Fury over here. Being pulled, being bursted very quick as well, obviously by having that Fire Giant, having a Merlin as well, which is one of the biggest bursts in the game. And it goes down pretty uncontested.
Yeah, Merlin's burn damage is absolutely wonderful for taking down objectives, along with crit damage coming out from Evan. Really difficult to keep these objectives alive. So I imagine that we'll see that again on display when this next Fire Giant comes up. But for now, 2 towers still stand and about a 6,000 gold lead for the tactical feeders. I imagine they're about to start making a move towards this mid and duo-side tower.
Ching Chen picking up the Pele here as she does get forced to use the beats there from a solo ult. It's a bit rough to lose your beats right before a team fight probably is going to break out, as the tactical feeders is looking at yet another tower here.
That mid tower is going to fall almost immediately like a knife through hot butter.
It definitely will. It definitely did. As they're going to look towards the last tower now as well. Might even see a Phoenix up here. They have about a quarter left of their fire time, so good enough to go for this Phoenix. The entire team of Volcanic Lightning is there to wait for them though.
This will be a very difficult fight if Tactical Feeders does decide to take on this duo-side Phoenix, but waves are pushed up, so Volcanic Lightning will have to contest with the waves and the entire team of Tactical Feeders with Fire Giant, so no easy feat for either team. Sieging is definitely one of the most difficult things you can do in Smite.
As the blink from the Ching comes out, he knows this Pele beats is down as he just got it. Ulcer once again as the fight is breaking out now. In the background we see Nasha going on against this Discordia. Discordia falling towards the Merlin. Valyouuu being dropped down as well. We see pockets there on the King Arthur being very low as well. Shiva on top of him, but gets out, saves his Fire Giant as this Phoenix is about to fall down right now. Yes.
With 2 members down, it looks like Tactical Feeders are looking to get everything that they can before the next FG, and this duo-side Phoenix is the perfect supplement.
It's a 5v3, but with Phoenix on the side of the 3 people, I don't know how this is going to turn out, as Tactical Feeders will get the Phoenix. Everyone of Volcanic Ashes that was still alive does get out for now, as they're staring the Titan in the face, but decide for now they will retreat. Maybe until the next Fire Giant spawns.
I was about to say, there's no way they call for the end here with people on respawn and the Fire Giant had just fallen out. There's no way they can afford to lose that fight. But now, over a 10,000 gold lead coming out for the Tactical Feeders, as we said earlier. Get all the towers and Phoenixes that you can, spend your gold, and get ready for this next Fire Giant fight. This could be the one that helps Tactical Feeders end this game.
Definitely, as they got the Pyromancer on their way out, giving them a quick way back into this Fire Giant fight. When it will respawn, and it will right now, is Shiva already falling half HP. Pele actually being picked out, using the beats and the ultimate once again, just for a sash, nothing else being used there. Pretty big for the Tactical Feeders once again. Might give them leverage over this Fire Giant here, which they might pull right now, looking at this Ching charging towards it.
And as we said earlier, Tactical Feeders made some mistake, but we have to call out Q. His positioning has cost him his beats a few times here, and that could have been the difference in some of these team fights.
Fire Giant falling down for the Tactical Feeders once again. Looking at that last Phoenix maybe here, as they are grouped up in right. Nasha deciding to back it first. Same with the Karate, so they might just want to spend their gold and then go for one big last push and try and end the game.
Yeah. Luckily for Volcanic Lightning, Fire Giant wasn't enhanced yet, as we're just about now going to tick over to the 30-minute mark, so not going to have that EFG sustain, But Tactical Feeders have a gold lead. They've upgraded some of the relics. They are going to be looking to end this game quickly, I'd imagine.
Yeah, I would assume so. They have all the rights to do so, and they have all the, like, they have the gold, they have the Fire Giant. They should. If they don't do it, there's only going down here, as Volcanic might get back into the game. Grabbing the Oni Fury for now though, getting those big minions to push with them.
Oni Fire minion waves in 2 lanes is going to be such a huge thorn in the side of Volcanic Lightning. That's one of the worst feelings in the game, when you already have Phoenixes down and then you see the Oni Fury fall, knowing those Oni Fire waves are going to be huge. Just Black Iron Forces pick out!
That is Discordia already dead. Great Sash once again. We saw the apple going out, but just not quite in time, as it's now a 4v5 with Fire Giant, staring down the Titan once again. One Phoenix still alive though.
Red Wings is coming back to this fight. It looks like this is going to be it. Tactical Feeders pushing for that Titan end. Or maybe not. Just waiting for their Merlin, it looks like, which is understandable. You want your mid laner there for this fight.
Deciding to go for the fight over the last Phoenix though, as this Kukulin might be in a bit of trouble being grabbed out. Migii beats and ultimate coming out as he's back in base. Titan is being pulled, Merlin in the background. Oh, big things here from the Churnanos. Let's Pele down as well. Everyone being forced back to the base once again. Titan not being really hit just yet though. Very healthy so far. You know who isn't healthy? This King Arthur, as he might fall down here. Gets saved by the Ching for now. Migii jumping in though, getting the kill. As this fight ends in a 1-for-1. And that's not good for the Tactical Feeders in this case.
No, absolutely not. If you're pushing like that, you want to make sure you're getting something on it. And yeah, this Phoenix is nice, but the rest, guys, hold that thought.
Ooh, Churn getting picked up by this Migii. Massive play from Perspective Duck here, getting his, keeping his team in the game. Titan being sieged by those Oni minions right now though, so they will have a bit of trouble with that. Tactical Feeders falling back and taking their losses for now. Maybe regrouping and then looking for what they want to do next.
Tactical Feeders trading out 2 for the final Phoenix. I guess you have to say that is quite worth it, trading a few members for a Phoenix, but I imagine that right now, if they don't group up again, which I can't imagine they do given that they weren't able to break that Titan with 5 with fire, that they're just going to be taking this time to get ready for the EFG and making sure that they win that fight, which should be easy given that they have 3 Phoenixes down from the Volcanic Lightning.
If you're Tactical Feeders, it's not going to get any better for you now. You have basically everyone full build, you have everyone level 20. All the minutes you waste now is just Volcanic Lightning coming back into this game.
Yeah, that is definitely true. Giving them time to upgrade those starter items that some of them haven't yet upgraded, get their relics upgraded, just finishing up those builds on the side of Volcanic Lightning. But it is so hard to farm right now, given the stranglehold that the Tactical Feeders has on the map right now. You really can't afford to step up, or you risk losing your beads, losing your relics, or worst case scenario, losing your life.
As Nasha is looking at this Migii here, taking him up to the air. Big damage, that's 310 a hit, as it will fall down to the Churnanos, who was waiting down there. As in the other side of the map, King Arthur seems to be in a bit of trouble, lives with very little HP as Churn gets the double kill, and now they turn around the fight completely. Chasing the Kukulin here, as he will fall down, as that's a triple kill from this Churnanos. And I would assume they end right here, right now.
Yeah, I would have to agree. The 5v2 was a lot to do for Volcanic Lightning. Titan already weak.
Titan about half HP, nothing there to help him as all the Phoenixes and Towers are down. Titan going down, Titan did go down. And that's game 2, we're going to game 3, as it's 1-1 now.
Yeah, well played by the Tactical Feeders. again, these games could be going either way. This one a little more lopsided towards the side of the tactical feeders. Volcanic Lightning not having as much of a pushback as tactical feeders had in game one, but just few small mistakes coming out from the side of Volcanic Lightning led to some of these lopsided team fights that favor the tactical feeders. It's gonna be a barn burner for game three. I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, game 3 definitely could go either way. Even though this game looked a bit more one sided, I think it was still pretty even at times, especially the solo lane with the Kukulen holding his ground very well against his King Arthur. I don't know who will win this game 3. I think it's even. It comes down to the picks and bans and how these players will, well, play it out.
Be right-
I'm taking shots at the enemy. I'm gonna make it to the top, leave a legacy. If I got something to say, you better let me speak. Turn it up a new degree, bitch, you ain't seen anything. I pop off with the new rock, electronic, blow the sonic roof up. I'm too honest when I take a few shots. They're too toxic, need to take a new song. And you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving. It's everything I've been chasing, all here for the taking. Don't wanna test your luck with me, I think I've had enough disease. I'm sick of all the bad thoughts, people who are half-nots. You are not as tough as I'm back, you know that I never left. I got tracks and some music that you never guess. I don't slack, don't lose, learn your lesson yet. When I get to choose what I do, I'm like a weapon. I'm not sharp as many, but got heart. I'm ready to change scars to envy, to win large and plenty. I like to play fast, never change back. Calling out, I'll pay back, 'cause I'm great at that. Oh, you cannot save me, 'cause I don't need saving.
Welcome back to Game 3 of the Tactical Fetus versus the Volcanic Lightning. It is 1-1 right now, and we're looking for a tiebreaker in this best of 3.
Yeah. Both these games have been pretty tight, but just small mistakes in the positioning department made by both teams, kind of giving away some free team fights, led to the enemy team being able to take this victory. So I'm curious to see if both teams have cleansed their mistakes and are going to be able to put up a good game 3 for us. Here's hoping.
Yeah, and I don't know about you, Joy, but I'm feeling a bit of deja vu with these bans, as we see Hades and the Lancelot being banned out first once again.
We have seen practically the same first 3 bans from these teams, both game 1 and game 2. And it looks like they might be deliberating a little bit if they would like to do the same game 3. So far, it looks like it.
As we do see the Cupid being banned out once again, indeed, as well. I would assume the next ban might be a Adachi then, as for me, or the Ishtar, which has also been banned the entire time. But for me, if I'm the Volcanic Lightning here, I would ban out this Nasha, as I do not want to see the Tactical Fetus getting that once again.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. Though Volcanic Lightning are first pick, and I believe they were willing to first pick the Ninja game 1. So I wouldn't be surprised to see it again if they do end up picking it. But we'll see what the tactical feeders are looking to ban here and take away from that first pick slot.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see this Nasha obviously being a flex pick, as Poseidon is the last one to get banned out here. This leaves the Nasha open, which is a high priority pick for both teams. Susanoo also still being open, but we do see the Nasha being hovered at least here, and I would assume, yes, being locked in.
I was gonna say, I imagine if it's not first pick, that would be windmill slammed, locked in by the tactical feeders. But still, a lot of good junglers left up. As we see King Arthur and Chernanos locked in. I was kind of expecting a jungle here, maybe Susano or Thor, but I guess Volcanic Lightning have already locked in their jungler. We think. So
Yeah, I see why they would pick the Chernanos early here, as it's a highly contested ADC right now, especially with this Ishtar already being banned. But I would have thought they would pick the King Arthur a bit later, with the jungler still being up for grabs now. They might pick it in the last spot here, as Horus and Kukulin get locked in for the other team.
I have to imagine that this is going to be a jungle pick. There are so many good junglers, right? And I was gonna say
Ah,
either Thor or Susano would have been my guess, and there it is.
we get the God of Thunder bringing Harm back down to the battlefield over here. I'm excited to see that. He's been banned out, I think, in both matches, 1 and 2. So I'm really excited to see him here.
Yeah, I think the only different ban was the Poseidon in both games that was replaced by Thor. So Thor being let through, really good drafting from the tactical feeders to be able to pick up that Thor.
As we see Discordia being banned out here, was a pretty solid pick last time. I think it's a pretty solid mid laner in general. Although I do think there are better mid laners right now. It's still preference though, whatever you want to ban. As we're looking towards a Falcon ban, that's one of those mid laners I really like right now. Well, not to play against at least, but Falcon being very strong.
Vulcan is incredibly strong, able to burn down objectives with his turret and then secure it with the Earth Shaker. Man, these picks and bans just feel so similar to the entire set. Just leaving the mid laners to fend for scraps, banning out all these mid laners in the last 4 picks. Man, it's gotta be tough to be a mid laner out here.
Definitely, as Yu Hang also gets banned out. As for the support, we do not see the Huckbuck today. Merlin being instantly locked in though. Pretty solid pick.
Yeah, Merlin did some huge work in team fights last time for the tactical feeders. Not surprised to see them picking it up again. And curious to see now what the Volcanic Lightning squad is going to move towards for their ADC and mid laners.
Well, if it wasn't for them having so many physicals already, I would have hoped for the Pele mid here anyway, after we didn't get it last time, sadly. But I would assume they would go for a regular mage here.
Yeah, I have to imagine they're not going to be going any double ADC compositions, given that unless there is a magical ADC, given they already have three physicals.
The Medusa coming through here, though, that's 4 physicals so far with this Horus, I would assume as a support being a physical. This must be a pretty uptight mage from Black Forces that's going to get locked in. Do they want to make, well, at least do magical damage? You would assume if they do not, well, the Chang'e will do work. Although it's not the biggest Birch mage so far, so I'd assume there's going to be a lot of physical defense here.
I have to agree. Chang'e tends to be more of a utility mage, not normally one known for her huge damage. Although the Waxing Moon can be a real pain to deal with in team fights, but Chang'e not a traditional mage you think of when you think of damage dealers. So I'm inclined to agree that there will be a lot of physical defense coming out from the tactical feeders.
Yeah, if this Chang'e gets the 5-man ult off, you might as well uninstall this game, as 5 seconds being stunned in this game is an eternity. You cannot get out of that, as we see Cheng Chen once again being picked up here as the last pick.
And with that, we will conclude picks and bans for game 3, and we'll hop right in there, and we'll see you guys shortly.
And welcome back to game 3 of Volcanic Lightning versus the Tactical Feeders. It's 1-1 right now, it's a tiebreaker. I'm looking forward to this. How about you, Joy?
I am so excited to be getting into this one. It's been a close set that's been given away by a few critical mistakes, and I really want to see if both these teams clean their act up and play perfectly, who can come out on top.
Yeah, as I'm looking forward mostly towards this ADC matchup Medusa against the Churnanos. Both picks quite a bit picked up in the meta right now. I like the pressure that both of them give right now, as we do see Churn and Ching having a lot better wave clear for now and hitting that level 2 pressure.
Yeah, unfortunately for Volcanic Lightning, just not able to clear the minions fast enough. What's your take on Medusa? I don't think we've seen a whole lot of her in the duo lane, but I enjoy playing her, but that's a lot different than competitive.
I'll answer you soon after this fight, because we see this Kukulin in a lot of trouble here, very early in the game. Tall obviously being very strong. Oh, but he does get out with so little HP once again. You must be hitting yourself if you're tall right now. Power, not very lucky.
Yeah, unfortunate for Pala. Just so low was Heavy Warcrier. But cooldowns are longer in the early game, only being level 2, only with 2 level 2 abilities to use. You have to imagine they're just kicking themselves, you know, begging for a little more cooldown.
Ooh, going hard in on the horse here. Good knock-up, will save him some time. Shell being used and safety for now.
And again, we see Evan prioritizing this Shell in the ADC role. I'm a little curious, as if you get petrified, that's going to be a long time standing there chunking those snake autos from Medusa. He's got to trust himself to be looking away when that ult pops out.
Definitely. As you were mentioning before about this Medusa in general, I think she's a pretty strong pick right now. I don't know why we're not seeing her that much. I guess her dash isn't that safe, as it does get stopped if you get close to her. But that ultimate being such a big burst, good damage, and forcing the enemy to look away from you, I think is great.
It looks like Tactical Feeders were looking to get an invade on that purple buff from Volcanic Lightning, but Volcanic Lightning just getting a little too quick with it, taking that purple buff for themselves, making sure that it wouldn't be stolen away. Good on them to be able to secure that buff and prevent the Tactical Feeder dual lane from snowballing and really running away with this lane.
Yeah, as we're 3 minutes in now and have not seen a first blood just yet. A few times it got very close, especially for the tactical feeders getting close twice. Very, very close, with both this solo laner and the support basically being dead. But not quite hitting the mark just yet.
Yeah, both times, Heavy Warcry and King of Darkness were really low, and my toes were curled, man. I was ready. I was ready to call it, but didn't happen quite yet.
Definitely. As Medusa, together with this Horus, are being pushed in the tower quite a bit. Obviously the totem helping a lot with the extra damage on the support. That is Oracles going down to Nasha, though, if Thor doesn't have anything to say about it. No, both of them go down to Nasha, going back in. But running away for now, as the Merlin was running over as well. And you do not want to face an early game Thor with that hammer.
No, the double tap is absolutely mighty. Mjolnir will put you in your place big time, especially if you're able to hit both of the throw and the catch. You'll be in the grayscale pretty soon if you take too many hammer throws.
As we see across the board now, except for the Horus, everyone by now has their ultimate. Still no first blood on the board though. Very even so far. A little bit of a gold lead for the tactical feeders. I would assume mostly out of this duo lane. We'll see where it takes us.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is exactly what I was hoping for from these two teams. Just a slow game where both teams are able to farm up and have an even team fight. I'd love to see that.
As King Arthur goes up in the air against his Kukulin. How many times do I get to say that this match, as Thor gets an invade off on the blue buff? Obviously it is a Kukulin solo, it's not the biggest deal, but taking away that farm, that is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, if the blue buff isn't important, the gold and XP definitely is. The blue buff being the most worthwhile buff in the game, giving you the most gold and XP. And as Patroclus secures his own, he's definitely going to need it on that King Arthur as he spams all of his abilities on cooldown.
Yeah, as we look at the solo lane now, King Arthur actually being out of mana as we're speaking, and the rage from going down from Kukulin. How the Shunking Auto might be in a bit of trouble here if he stays. Already pretty tanky though, as he finished the entire Sovereignty, so it seems like he will be fine for now.
Yeah, unfortunately not able to secure that totem for the rest of his team. But I will say, this matchup has been looking quite different from last time, as Patroclus did fall early, I believe, in the last game, but Cube looking for Evan.
Naja finding the Churnano, finding Evan without his dash up, going up in the air, doing quite good damage. Medusa being there as well, and that's a solid first blood by the Medusa. Props to the Naja once again. Tor also finding himself in a bit of trouble, but actually being turned around as 4 people are there. Ching ult just missing the mark. Tor going up in the air, so this Cullen is not safe quite yet. How does he live with 4 people going for him that hard?
Unfortunately for Tactical Feeders, low mana bars caught them up. It looked like they had second thoughts about, all right, we can get them. No, our mana bars are low. We really can't do anything. But we talked about it earlier. Evan foregoing the beads cost him his life there. There's so much CC, and we saw it for the Tactical Feeders from this Naja last game, and just it's really difficult to rationalize not going beads into a Naja, in my opinion.
Yeah, I personally very like the shell on the ADCs, as we are not allowed to build beads and ages, of course. But in this case, I would have definitely picked it second, as Naja ult is hard to beat. But if you're playing at the level these challenges are, you definitely should be able to do it, and it would have saved his life, like you just said there, definitely.
Yeah, and I do like, though, these teams bringing these big ganks. And sometimes what you have to do in these slow-paced games to make sure that your gank is worth it and you're not going to lose out on the farm, and make sure that you are able to pick up the kill. It just so happens that Tactical Feeders ran out of mana during their gank, and Volcanic Lightning didn't.
As Ching is looking at Perspective Dock here a little bit, the Tor going up in the air, but it got hurt by the Medusa going back in the tower, so completely different target being chosen out, and that's the beats down, I believe, from Chang'e. Yes, it is. Horror's going up in the air though. I don't think this Churn knows what is coming for him. That's 3 people. Ult going down, polymorphing multiple targets, but will still fall down.
Yeah, Evan is just feeling the wrath. I don't know if he did something the previous game, but he is getting gank after gank, and unfortunately not able to stay alive. So 2 kills now falling onto Evan Lee Kidd, and Perspective Darkness has participation in both of them, so I expect to see him picking up a bigger lead here as the game goes on.
Tactical Feeders do pick up the Trebuchet in duo lane though. That might help a little bit to relieve this pressure. Didn't get activated just quite yet by its son, but it's there for when they need it.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like having that duo side Trebuchet is one of the better lanes that you can have it in, as when the Fire Giant fights are ready, you're able to push that down the lane and make somebody deal with that, as Black Air Force takes a lot of damage.
Chang'e feeling the hammer there. It does so much damage, instantly half HP out of 1 stun. That's absolutely insane. She is Chang'e, so that's a lot of healing that you can do for yourself. It still feels bad though. Naja getting picked up by the ultimate from Ching here, getting double hammered, but ulting in response. That's the triple Chang'e, so you see how long that stun does, how long that stun stays there on red wings. No picks here with a pretty big fight. That's surprising, as Kukulin comes in the background.
Yeah. Heavy Warcry looking to do some damage to Nishi, but he's just so tanky on this Jing Tian, already having finished his Gauntlet of Thebes. I can't imagine a pick comes out. And despite all this constant pressure from Volcanic Lightning, Tactical Feeder's only a few hundred gold down, just word change at this point. So not really a whole lot of advantage coming from that in the gold department, just XP, but this Pyromancer is definitely a step in the right direction for Volcanic Lightning.
Pyromancer already on half HP, and it's just King Arthur over here looking at it. Oh, and yeah, Volcanic Lightning will actually steal it. No, they will not. I'm sorry, as they were the one pulling it. That's my bad. They got it confirmed, and that's good on them.
Yeah, really difficult for King Arthur to step up and be able to secure that, especially at the low mana that he was at. But Volcanic Lightning, if they continue to keep up this pace, should be able to develop a bit more of a lead. Only about 500 gold here. Not really much of anything, but they do have a level lead forming in the jungle and ADC, probably off those ganks on Evan. So definitely understand where that level lead is coming from.
Yeah, it's funny to see that once again the only lead that's not going in their favor is in this solo lane, as the King Arthur does scrape 1 XP above it. As the Jing starts to wind up ult, doesn't hit anyone. Horus being forced to go up though. Nice shield, but nothing much more. This fight is not over yet though, as Nasha will confirm. Thor is in the sky. Be careful, he will land out on top of this Medusa. The snake being low, the snake being dead. Waxing Moon coming down as Nasha is also in the air. Gets a double kill of herself. And Thor now got to run away. He will just find safety in his tier 2 tower then.
And this is exactly what I was hoping to see from the Volcanic Lightning squad. They had already developed a little bit of a lead. Now they need to extend it to make it something a little more significant, as they get some really nice picks onto important players. And unfortunately, Perspective Duck does fall, but Evan also falls, so you're not kicking yourself too hard for that one.
Yes, as solo laners do be solo laners, even when they're not in the lane, they're just hitting each other pointlessly. Helping his support out to get the green buff now though. As in the background we actually see Nasha going very low after this King Arthur ult. Running for their life is Cube. The blink coming down from the King Arthur, and he will actually find the solo kill.
I didn't think that Patrocles would be able to pick that up. Ninja is so fast due to that passive, but the blink in really helped him secure that kill, as now he's caught out a little bit.
Might be in a bit of trouble, as the Kukulin is also there to mangle. Waxing Moon coming out and will confirm the kill, as Chang'e will grab one for herself now.
There's a big grouping around the Gold Fury though.
Medusa knows.
Is here.
Gold Fury already being very low there before she is there. Just a bit late, will get a double stun, but it's not in time to secure this Gold Fury. And now Thor is in the air. Medusa out of range, but still in range for the stun double tap. And with Evan ulting as well, that's an easy kill with this Thor damage.
Yeah, Thor is doing so much damage right now, and he will continue to be able to one-shot late into the game, land with the Anvil of Dawn, and just delete whoever he has chosen as his target. But again, Tactical Feeder is now swinging this game back in their favor with that Gold Fury. A small lead. It really is anyone's game at this point.
Definitely, as we finally see this Trebuchet being pushed up in duo lane. Nothing much being done with it yet, as Horus is holding it up and trying to kill it, as the support doing not too much damage to it though. Evan Lee letting him do it for now.
Yeah, it's such a rough feeling as a support, just watching your Trebuchet stand there and be like, all right, I'll poke you. I'm doing damage, I swear, and the health bar is just not moving. Yeah, almost have to call for your ADC to come help you kill the Trebuchet. It's really unfortunate, but doing the best you can to make it disappear, as both teams just almost dead even again. No real big leads have come so far, so this is just anybody's game at this point.
As we've seen practically the same builds in all game for this duo laners here, do you think the ADCs could have built anything different to make a difference, or is this just the best build right now? Sorry, hold that thought. Thor going up in the air. King Arthur ult down as well. They're diving this Cocoon hard. Both already very low there, but who is lower? The Cocoon getting help from his team with this horse ult. Chang, that's Naja coming in, getting the sash. Horse confirming the kill, and that's what Power and Fortes thought to be a free kill, turning into both of them being in very much danger. Power already being dead, and Nasha in the air now to get King Arthur down as well. Waxing Moon a bit still up, might get it, not even needed, as 4 of them are dead to confirm the double kill.
And these solo laners are just so gosh darn tanky at this point. It's so hard to bring them down. The shell expended from tactical feeders, and what a beautiful horse ult coming out from King of Darkness, recognizing the situation that Heavy Warcrier was in and being able to make the difference, bring his team to the team fight, and really turn the tide of that battle for Heavy Warcrier.
Yeah, as for Volcanic, will not only get a double kill, but also a Pyromancer off that. That's pretty huge for them.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is one of the most substantial leads we've seen so far, and it's only about 1,000 gold, so really not that much, but that just goes to show how close this game has been. These teams are really just trying their best to play clean, not get caught out, and make sure that they are not the reason their team falls behind.
Yeah, definitely. As for now, they're calming down a little bit again. Troll always looking to gank, obviously, but just going for a bit of fun now, as we see Medusa doing the exact same here with the XP camp.
Yes. Both players just trying to get all the XP that they can, make sure that they're staying relevant in this game. And as we're talking about the ADC build, I think this is pretty traditional at this point. Every now and again, we get to a point where ADCs just have the build, and I believe it's been found out, and it's this crit build, as Sash is down on Red Wing, but
Sash,
not a lot to come to it, it looks like.
Sash just off the mark, but you might wonder if this time it might actually be a blessing that Sash was off the mark, as Ching Chen was also there in the tower with ult up.
Yeah, it looked like Red Wing was forced to use the beads in that instance, so maybe it hit, but Evan is forcing Perspective Duck back onto the tower. There's Cube!
Ooh, there's the blink, there's the beats. Ultimate still available. Ultimate will go down. Up in the air goes to Nasha. Thor looking at it in the ground though. Nasha still not confirming the kill. And everyone walking away with just a little bit of HP, but it's looking at Horus there. Horus blinking in. Thor saving his mans. Chernono is living with a slither of HP that can't be more than 50 HP that's living on. And Evans might bless Power for saving his life twice there.
Yeah, that was really something. I thought somebody was going to be able to wrap around the tower or something to finish off that kill. But man, what a display from both teams in the duo lane. The Anvil of Dawn coming down, realizing that the Thor dunk would be needed to pick up that kill. And in response, the Ninja ult coming out to counteract that damage as
Goldfury is being pulled while also fighting massively, but they just got turned around as Thor and King Arthur are both about half an HP. Thor falling down, King Arthur now falling down as well, and Goldfury being pulled by the Volcanic Lightning instead as they get 3 of the tactical feeders, and that's not what they were expecting.
No, what a fight from Volcanic Lightning, just separating the fight, getting their picks and getting the objectives, and now currently only 3. Yeah, Evan and Nishi will be able to get out, but man, what a big fight for the Volcanic Lightning. About 4k up in gold now. We were talking about 500, 1,000, and now they're up by 4k in just one team fight. That's absolutely massive.
Yeah, the team fight looked pretty good for the tactical feeders, but it got turned around so quickly. You have this horse ult. getting a team from one place to another within mass seconds, which they get caught out now multiple times already. They must be getting wary of that and maybe get their ward coverage up even a little bit more.
Yeah, King of Darkness has been so proficient with these to the sky ultimates, dropping the team exactly where they need to be. I wish it was a skill I had as a horse, because I definitely can't do that, but King of Darkness making it look easy. We've seen a lot of good horse throughout the season, and maybe it's time other teams start buying stock in this horse, because what an impact he's having in these games.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. As we see around Fire Giant here, they're finally grouping up around it. We're 20 minutes in, still a bit early as Pyromans are also respawning. It's Tactical Feeders with 4 over there, and just 2 of Volcanic Lightning. Tor coming in now as well, so it's actually 5 versus 2. It are the tanks though, so they will not go down easily, as Medusa is creeping up from the sideline. Pyromans are already falling down to the Tactical Feeders. They got what they wanted. Do they want more? Yes, they do. As Ching holds over here, getting down this Changa early into the fight. Tor is in the air as well. Misses the mark just barely. Medusa ult coming down. There is the horse on swear. And I think Nasha in the air with the Tor. Tor falling down pretty low. Will not be confirmed though, as in the front here, the King Arthur actually confirms kill, as Medusa now gotta be careful. Very low. King Arthur, will he get the double? Yes, he will. He will get the double. And the fight's still not over even. Nasha going deep on this Ching. Will be confirmed for another double kill, but this time for the Kukulan. And that's a 2 for 3.
It's not over yet.
It's not even over yet, as we get more blinks, more attacks, and this churn being very low right now. Knife sealing up, but dies before he can enough because of this damage this Nasha puts out. Nasha herself going up in the air though by King Arthur. Kill getting confirmed by the Merlin, and now Kukulan's gotta run. Kukulan, he cannot run. This King Arthur has a lot of CC, of course, gets a good dash, but no, Merlin confirms it for his double kill, as now, I don't even know how many people died in that fight anymore. That was chaotic.
My goodness, it lasted so long that the respawns from Volcanic Lightning have already come in before the fight even over. And it's still going on as Patrick gets picked up.
Can you call this fight over yet? I think you can now, as Chanka and Horus, like you said, respawned and came back to it.
My goodness, though. Evan will be up in just a second now. I have to imagine that the tactical feeders are going to be looking for an objective here, given that there are 2 still down from the Volcanic Lightning, and Heavy Warcry has been such a prominent figure in the engage from Volcanic Lightning. It looks like everyone's a little spread out though, so that might not happen, but what a swing back in the favor of tactical feeders that was now only about a 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, I definitely think they loved that fight, every single second of it. They did lose a few people, but in the end they came out as the victor. As Thor is being forced up in the air here, but only by a horse. It's a bit quick on the ultimate. It doesn't have the highest cooldown, but that's a bummer to lose.
Yeah, he does have a Jotun's already, so not going to be the longest cooldown, but definitely something you want to have whenever one of these big objectives are up. Just want to have that for in case a team fight does end up breaking out, but right now it doesn't look like either team is really interested in pulling this fire giant just yet.
No, both teams just grabbing their greater Scorpion, maybe testing their water a little bit, but no big engagement just yet. But this Ching getting the Nasha ult though, that however is pretty big, as this Nasha has been making big impacts in these fights.
The boards are just out here pulling ultimates left and right. Nishi getting the ultimate out from Cube, and Powa being forced out by King of Darkness, as tactical feeders are looking to take this Oni Fury.
Oni Fury being pulled, it's already almost dead, and it will be dead before anyone of the Volcanic Lightning can get close. But in their turn, the Fire Giant is being pulled. it's just being leased already, but a fight breaking out. A Storm in the background going up in the sky, getting 2 of them, getting a kill actually. Oh, big ultimates going out as Kukunen picks up a kill on the Tor himself. Horror is coming in now. Black Air Force getting a kill as well. As now is looking in the favor of Volcanic Lightning. It's a 2-for-1 so far, but lots of low people all across the board. As CERN gotta run away as Ching gets picked up by this Medusa.
Yeah, I just think that Thor ult was a little early. Maybe you wait for the boys to follow up as hold that thought. Nah, they won't be able to chase out Red Wing, but I think the Thor ult was just a little early as Volcanic Lightning are almost assured to take this Fire Giant now. Just wait until your boys are there to help follow up on the engage. They did get a nice little pick onto Cube. He fell really quickly, but I feel like more could have been done if the rest of the tactical feeders were there to follow up on the Anvil of Dawn.
Yeah, as much as I love Thor ult and how much damage Thor can bring out, he hit 2 people, props to him, but you're still ulting in on 4 people basically alone. He gets a kill, but in the end, it cost them the Fire Giant.
Yeah, for sure. And worth noting though, Cube, as he was picked by Powa, will not have that Fire Giant buff. So, worth noting that won't be available, but still, that's not the worst. Having Fire Giant buff on 4, not having it on your jungler, it's not the worst thing in the world.
As well as I think this Nasha right now is just a get a pick and die god. So I think she will get it done even without the Fire Giant, as Pyromancer is being pulled by the tactical feeders, getting a little bit back at least. As will they confirm it? They will confirm it. Tier 2 going down though. With Horus immediately going towards the Phoenix. No one is there yet. Took the minions with them as well. This is a quick Phoenix. That is already down. Thor going up in the sky. Does not connect. And now the tactical feeders are looking in a bit of a pinch. They do grab the Kukunen though. But that's 1 person and a Pyromancer, but you lose a tier 2 and a Phoenix. That's not worth in my book.
And again, the tactical feeders making a similar mistake to game 1. Just not being there to defend the Phoenix. You know they have a Horus, they can teleport the entire team. You have to be there to defend. You can't be giving up Phoenixes like that for free. Especially the dual lane Phoenix. That is the best Phoenix in the game. It is the easiest to defend, but the most crippling to be without. So Volcanic Lightning picking their moment absolutely beautifully, getting in there to the skies, coming out, drop shipping the entire team right onto that Firebird and taking it down on almost an instant.
I couldn't say it any better, Joy. What a Horus ult that was. As much as this Horus has had good ults, I think this one has had the most impact, getting that Phoenix down so quickly by taking that means as well. And now they still got quite a bit left on this Fire Giant. They got it on their mid laner and their carry. Obviously the support as well. I think that matters a little bit less, but they might look to aggress here.
I wouldn't be surprised as we saw Patrick Lee's channeling the back. It seemed like he might back, and then that would leave a great opportunity for Volcanic Lightning to try and finish off the team without the solo laner, but alas, nothing did come out of it. And despite the Fire Giant and all the towers and Phoenix, Volcanic Lightning only up about 2,000 gold. This is not the lead that I would have been expecting, given how much Volcanic Lightning have gotten off this Fire Giant.
They do have a pretty comfortable XP difference though, but like you were saying, this gold is still so close. That means with Fire Giant being almost over now, they could still swing back pretty hard, they being the tactical feeders.
Yeah, the one thing that they need to worry about now is making sure that no other Phoenixes fall and getting that wave pushed out in dual lane. Just get yourself ready for that EFG, because it should be a brawl, and I am so excited to see what happens when that Fire Giant respawns.
Definitely. So we do have both teams with a mage with not not as much as a high secure value. Merlin obviously has the burst, Chang'e has the big stun, but it's no big ulti like a Vulcan or a Poseidon would be. So you gotta be careful doing these objectives as it could be stolen any second.
Yeah, I think I would have to give the secure bonus, the more secure, to the Waxing Moon over any of the Merlin burn. He has a lot more like tick damage, but not a big one-shot ability to really be able to take down an objective. But I I feel like Waxing Moon would be the secure tool you're looking for, but it's not the greatest, as you said. It is no Earthshaker or Kraken.
Yeah, you also do have the Petrify, of course, on the team, which does quite a bit of damage. But then you have to question, do you want to waste 2 ultimates on the Fire Giant if you're gonna lose the fight after that because of it? For now, though, Fire Giant will respawn as they're staring each other down in this pit.
As crazy as it might be, I'm honestly looking to these ADCs to perhaps secure the Giant, as Nishi caught out.
Ooh, Cube dead already to Red Wing. That's a big bummer for the Volcanic Lightning here, as they will fall back, and now the initiating will become from the tactical feeders, as they are 5v4 around this EFG. EFG not quite being pulled yet, but it's definitely being looked at. King Arthur all the way in left lane though, making sure that Phoenix doesn't fall to fire minions.
Yeah, I imagine he has his teleport up and upgraded, ready to go, so he'll be able to teleport in on this team fight. Nishi does have a warding chalice, so he should be able to have a ward. The only other person with a ward, unfortunately for tactical feeders, is Patroclus himself, so we'll see if they're able to teleport in on a ward, but because Cube is up in 10 seconds, so there he is.
King Arthur, and immediately blinks in and goes for the ultimate as Ching follows up. Also, Thor also being in the sky, not quite finding the damage he wanted to, actually being quite low himself already now, as this fight slowly dies out, but both teams being low, and no one pulling the Fire Giant. Pyromancer, however, will get pulled for now by the tactical feeders, as they also do pull the Fire Giant at the same time. I don't know if that's the play, as the Volcanic Lightning comes back in with this Kukulin and this Horus. Horus falling down to Evan though, as Volcanic Lightning will secure this Pyromancer, but the fight is not over yet. As Red Wings gets a double kill. And now Volcanic Lightning is not looking good. Gotta be careful if your tactical feed is here though. This King Arthur can die with any basics from the Medusa, not anymore if she is dead. And now it's just a Kukulin against the world.
And it looks like there are still towers standing, but it's gonna be a long time before we get a respawn. King of Darkness, 20 seconds. Black Air Forces, Cube to face, 30 seconds. Perspective Duck, 45 seconds. Not quite the end call though, as tactical feeders head back to the EFG.
They will get a practically free EFG here, as it's still only Kukulin and he is teleporting in, so he might try and contest it. I don't think he will be in time. And does blink in still. Will he get a pick or will he just get deleted? I think it's the latter, as he gets picked up by the Chingold. Does go in rage mode. Oh, falling down. Sorry, that was Merlin falling down very low, as the King Arthur does confirm. But Horus respawned and is looking at it. Doesn't decide to go for it quite though.
And now, again, we're looking at a 4K gold lead for tactical feeders. This game has been so back and forth, man. It's just, as we look at the charts, up, down, man. These teams can't do this. My heart can't take it, man. I'm so excited. They are playing their hearts out, but right now, tactical feeders have all the momentum in EFG around the waist of fives. If I were them, I'd be running down these towers and trying to push an objective, or push down these structures.
Extending their lead just a little bit though by getting this Primal Fury, making the next firefight as well a little bit easier. And now looking at this second to last tower in the duo lane here, it will fall down quite quickly, as backdoor protections are not a thing anymore with EFG. And now they're looking at that Fire Giant, or will they go for the tower first? No, it will be the Phoenix. They just run straight in. Gets a bit of poke towards Medusa is still there. Ching ulting in, throwing it away actually as Tor goes into the air, but Horus is also there. Tor dying to the Vexing Moon as all the ultimates are down now. Chang'e getting the churn actually. Sorry, that was not Tor. But King Arthur falling now to Cube. So many people so low as Tor gets away with half an HP. And now, a great stun, Medusa getting the kill on the Ching, and it's got turned around once again.
The comp from Volcanic Lightning is just so effective at shutting down this dunk from the tactical feeders. They have so much CC, it's really hard as Pow is getting caught out.
He will get caught out and will get sniped by Cube here. Great sash. And now it's once again Volcanic looking at getting that Phoenix back instead of tactical feeders. If you asked me 20 seconds ago, I would say tactical feeders might have this in the bag, but now they're looking in a bad position.
Volcanic Lightning looking for the end. Evan's up
They're
at 5. Can they do it?
Stun on the Merlin. Merlin dead, and now it's just 5 against the Titan. There's Evan back though, gets a good polymorph, but Titan already at half HP. Evan dead, and I think that's the game, and that's the set. Volcanic Lightning taking it home, getting a win 2-1 over Tactical Feeders here. What a game, what a set. Thank you so much for watching.
That was so back and forth. It was really hard to tell which team was going to be able to seal this one out, but Volcanic Lightning just had the answer to these dunks from Powa. Man, as soon as he landed, he was getting CC'd into oblivion. It's almost like you land, have to pop your beads, and even if you do, there's still so much that could follow up after that, man. It was so tough to get in there, but Volcanic Lightning able to take this set and move on into the next one with a W. Always huge.
Props to them, they've played so well. Also props to just how well they work together. This Horus ulting all across the map, Nasha getting the picks. I don't think there's a single player I would say like you won them the match. No, this was a real team effort.
Absolutely. And with that, we have tactical feeders falling to Volcanic Lightning 2-2-1. That's been it for this set. If you like to join us, we have our Discord and our social medias you can hop into. Give us a follow, give us a like and subscription on YouTube. It's been a fun set, and we'll call it there. Don't forget to peel your carries and have a good night.
And don't forget, every subscriber on the YouTube actually increases our prize pool as Season 2 is coming close. We need you to play in it. We need you to cast it. Come help us. It's been a pleasure working here. We also gotta thank Nooblet for being our cameraman today. I've been Jeffrey. I was here with Joy on the second chair of the cast. Thank you so much. Goodbye.